We had a good 2-year run, but unfortunately, I am divorcing you. I won't be needing you anymore. Goodbye. Farewell. Adios. So long. What is going on, everybody? It is DylanLasagna. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about something that pretty much had everybody talking, including myself, and that is the Nintendo Switch Mini. This just pretty much randomly popped up out of nowhere on a random Wednesday morning. It was literally the first thing I saw on my Twitter feed, on news outlets, pretty much everywhere I saw. And yeah, this is pretty much like confirmed to be real. I only saw this rumor back like when it was first shown in mid-April, when there was a Switch Mini shell, and that was pretty much it. I didn't follow any of the rumors regarding the Switch Mini, or should I say Switch Lite. I'm sorry. Switch Lite is the official name for it. But pretty much the Switch Lite is a real thing, and I have a lot to say about it, and let's get right into it. So let's get into some details about the Switch Mini and compare this to the regular Switch. So these details are attributed via Nintendo and Nintendo Life. So if you want to go check out the comparison yourself, I'll leave some links in the description below this video. So obviously the first difference you'll notice is that this thing can be only played in handheld mode. Duh. So you can't play this docked on the TV. You can't play this in tabletop mode because there's no longer a kickstand attached to this thing, although some people will be happy about that. And yeah, you pretty much can only play this in one mode and one mode only. Handheld. That might be a deal breaker to some, but most people play it handheld anyway. Another thing that stays with the Switch Lite is game cards. For physical gamers out there, you get to put in your Nintendo Switch game cartridges. Hopefully you don't lick them. And play your physical games on the Switch. It's not a situation like the Xbox One SAD where it's all digital. Unless if you want to take that route, you'll just need a micro SD card, because there is a micro SD card slot that takes the place of the IR camera on the right controller. So you still get to play physical games on the Switch Lite, but you might still want to invest in a micro SD card, which again takes the place of the IR camera. Speaking of controllers, there's no detachable Joy-Cons, meaning you can't do this. You can't switch, and you don't get to hear this sound. So you pretty much don't get to hear that ding, the switch snap, and you also don't get the detachable Joy-Con controllers. So if you want to play games that require motion controls like Mario Party or 1-2 Switch, you can't do that. You pretty much can't do it. But if you want to play games that use motion controls like Breath of the Wild, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, then I just highly advise you to at least grab another set of Joy-Cons, or at least invest in a Pro controller. Because in my honest opinion, it's pretty awkward playing or solving one of the puzzles in Breath of the Wild, and you're trying to not only like use the buttons on the console, but you're also trying to move the screen, and it's like it pretty much hurts your eyes doing it, and it hurts your head. But especially in a game like Splatoon 2, where it requires like quick thinking and like quick reflexes, and you're trying to like move the screen and like trying to like ink your way to win, it's not the best way to play like in like using motion controls and playing in handheld. So I at least advise you, if the Switch Lite will let you, to get another set of Joy-Cons, or at least a Pro controller. Even though that you don't get the detachable Joy-Cons, or you don't get the Switch Snap, you do get one thing, and that's one thing that everyone has been claiming for: a proper D-pad. You pretty much get like a D-pad that replaces these directional buttons right here. So pretty much no longer do you have to worry about like using the directional buttons to like screw yourself over in fighting games like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter. you now have a D-pad to help yourself out. Because the controllers, the Joy-Con controllers, are built in the console. But anyway, like I said, there's no HD rumble in this in the Switch Lite. And again, the IR camera is replaced with the micro SD card slot. Moving on to the speakers, which is a very light detail about the Switch Lite. It's moved from the front to the bottom of the console, so I guess there's that. And then the Switch Lite is actually a lot lighter than the Switch itself, so that's another small detail. With the controllers attached on this regular Switch, it's like, I think Nintendo said 0.88 pounds, so almost a pound, while the Switch Lite is like over a half pound, but not that much, over a half pound. So that's pretty damn light. Resolution wise for games, you get that same 720p resolution as not only this regular Switch, but also my beautiful videos, so check them out. But anyway, you still get the same 720p resolution on the Switch Lite. However, like, another small detail is that there's no like brightness sensor on the Switch Lite, so you have to manually adjust the brightness on the Switch Lite. That may be a deal breaker to some, but not to all. But a deal breaker might be the 720p gameplay for some people. So that's pretty much like the differences and details between the Switch regular and the Switch Lite. And let's just talk about games. So let's talk about games, because I seriously want to tout this part of the video. Games are essential for whether it's a Switch or a Switch Lite. Most of these games are compatible with the Switch. Like the Switch Lite, you get to play most of the games that you see on the Switch with the Switch Lite. However, not all of them are. And if you're one of those people that have not bought a Switch but are seriously considering the Switch Lite that when it comes out in September, I seriously advise you to please check this label on the back of these physical game cases or on the eShop and check whether or not it's compatible in handheld mode, because games like Super Mario Party are not compatible in handheld mode. So I seriously advise you to check this first before you consider buying a Switch Lite. But other than that, most games are compatible on the Switch, and if you want to buy a Switch Lite, you should have no problem finding games. Let's talk about battery life. This is the part where this kind of turns me off a bit about the Switch Lite. The battery life on the Switch Lite averages about 3 to 7 hours, whereas the regular Switch averages about 2.5 to 6.5. Again, like with the regular Switch, the Switch Lite's like battery life depends on what game you play. I think Nintendo pointed out that if you play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch Lite, you'll save about 30 minutes. That's it. 30 minutes of gaming on the Switch Lite. So it's like an average of 4 hours for gaming on the Switch Lite. So pretty much it's not a substantial difference. If it was like an hour, it's like, oh, okay, I'm saving 60 minutes of gaming with the Switch Lite. But no, it's like 30 minutes. Like, that's it. It's like, that's a really big deal breaker. But I guess 30 minutes is a lot of time for some people, but personally, it's not a lot for me because time just goes by really quick. And Nintendo couldn't really push it to more time. So I guess it's a win for some people, but not for all people. Before I get into my final thoughts, let's talk about the price of this Switch Lite. It comes in at $199, so like $100 less than the regular Switch. And it comes out on September 20th, so pretty much the same day as the Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening remake, which I didn't know about. And the price is pretty good, and the release date seems reasonable. It coincides with, again, Link's Awakening remake. And if I remember correctly, the $199 price tag is the current price for the 3DS right now. So, are we finally saying goodbye to the 3DS? We shall see. It comes in three colors, gray, yellow, and turquoise. And there's also a Pokemon Sword and Shield gray variant that comes out like to coincide with the game. Like I think it's a week before or like the week of when the game comes out. But that comes out, yeah, that comes out in November, and it has the same price tag, so that's nice. And all consoles, again, they come out with the console itself, duh, and the AC adapter. So which one will you choose? Or will you go with this? What do I think about the Switch Lite overall? Well, I think the colors are nice. I mean, it's pretty cool. But I think it's just more aimed towards like children, casual gamers, like mobile phone gamers. And that's pretty much it. I mean, if you are like a hardcore Switch gamer that doesn't want to take the Switch out of their dock or out of their TV and just wants to like get a handheld alternative, or they mostly play in handheld but they don't, like, they just leave their Switch on the TV, or like they don't want to take their, again, they don't want to take their Switch out of the TV. And I guess this is the Switch for them, like this is the alternate for them. However, in my opinion, if you don't have a Switch yet or considering getting one, I would just either save up an extra $100 for, and plus tax, because depending on where you live, there is or is not sales tax in where you live, to get the regular Switch. Or you can wait out for that rumored Switch Pro. Again, I'm going to save my surprise for when that comes out by not looking at rumors. Even though you don't lose out on much with the like Switch Lite feature-wise, you still get the micro SD card slot, the game card slot, the eShop newsfeed, being able to make friends like via the friend codes. Yeah, the great friend codes. Switch, you still get Switch Online. You still get all these great games on the Switch, but you lose out on like the flexibility to play in so many different ways. You're restricted to the handheld mode of this Switch. Like, can you even call it a Switch when you can only play it in handheld mode? I can pretty much call it like the Nintendo 4DS or the Nintendo like Vita or something like that. You pretty much lose out on all the flexibility to play in so many different ways, in TV mode, tabletop mode, and handheld mode. So that's like, you lose out on 2 different ways to play, and you also lose out on the detachable controllers and the different, like this, you lose out on so many different controllers to play with. And not only that, you also lose out on some game, like a select few games to play, like Mario Party, and I don't know what other games that are not compatible in handheld. Some people play in handheld. I'm a mix in between. So again, if you don't have a Switch yet, there are a lot of reasons for like to consider on whether or not the Switch Lite is right for you. But on my personal take, just go with the regular Nintendo Switch, or just wait out for the rumored Switch Pro that's supposed to have better battery life or like better graphics or whatever. But again, I think it's just your call. It's what you want to do with your money, and if you want to get a Switch Lite, that's cool. But it's just my personal take, and I'm just gonna leave it at that with the Switch Lite. So what do you guys think about the Switch Lite? Sound off in the comments below. Are you picking one up? Will the Switch Lite be your first ever Nintendo Switch, or are you picking one up so you can have a handheld alternative? Sound off in the comments below. Anyway, everyone, thanks for joining me in this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, dislike, leave a comment, follow me on social media if you would like, and always be delicious. I will see you all in the next video, and I'm out.